Hey, you guys. I'm driving. I never do this when I'm driving. It's so funny, but I'm having this moment of inspiration right now. And I wanted to just share it because I think it's important. You know, I just recently had a call with somebody, a consultation with somebody looking for coaching with me, who's in the mental health profession, you know, and he works with people who've experienced trauma and is going through something deep himself. And, you know, I'm just thinking about, like, you know, how there's something that happens. It's like, if we are a coach, if we're in the mental health profession, if we, you know, fill in the blank, that somehow we have to portray ourselves as always having all of our shit together. Right? Have you ever done that? You put out your certain face on social media and underneath it you're actually having a bad day. It's all a process, you guys. You know, we are seriously always in process. Having incredible tools can be a game changer in our lives for when we're going through a hard time. Being able to both hold ourselves and witness ourselves and really, you know, lean into what we're needing and being aware of that is so powerful, you know, and I also want to offer us some grace, because there are days when, you know, I don't show up in my best. You know, there's days for all of us when we're like, whew, what part of me was that? That's not what I really meant to say, you know? And being able to see it and work with it, and also bring in that level of self-love and self-compassion, knowing that we're always in process. And anybody who's trying to sell you absolute enlightenment and come off like, oh, I'm just so perfect on my mountaintop, you know, run away, because I really want to keep it real. Let's keep it real, you guys. We're human. We've all been through a lot of different things in our lives, and once in a while we get triggered by those patterns that we're working to dissolve. We're working, you know, to unravel so that who we are can fully emerge. All of that's in process and all happening, you know, and we get better and better at doing it. No, that's not good. You know what I mean? So bring in the grace, bring in the self-compassion, the self-love, and know that, you know, having the tools can transform our ability to be in relationship to the parts that feel hard. And we can recover so much faster. We can learn and grow through every hard experience, through every challenge. You know, it all is there for us to help us really deepen and, you know, experience more of who we are in every moment. Consciously, that's the key. So you can have a moment when you're like, oof, that was intense, that came from me, you know, and also recognize with love, yeah, wow, there's a part of me that's still hurting around this, you know, and so what do I need? What do I need? I guess, you know, and I wonder if you guys are experiencing this too, and I would love for you to comment on this and hear about this, but do you ever have an experience where, you know, someone's goal is to help you become enlightened just like they are? You know, woo, have I heard that one too many times? You know, like I'm so completely enlightened and I'm here to help everybody else become completely enlightened, you know, and just that transcending away from the human experience that is equally as dangerous as unconsciously, you know, acting out from our triggered spaces. Because I think when we transcend away from our human experience, we just bottle it all up. We bottle up the parts that are hard to face. We act like they're not there. We pretend. You know, we put this resume self forward as if, you know, I'm perfectly calm all the time. It's, you know, so we all have our moments, you know, and I wish we could just keep it real with each other, because I think that it gives us more permission to have a bad moment or have a bad day or have a moment that doesn't feel fully me, you know? And I want you guys to feel that. I want you to know that it's okay to have a bad moment. You know, when I say bad moment, it's not like it's a bad moment, but a moment that is not really you at your best, you know, you at your potential, you showing up fully as you really deeply want in the core heart and soul of who you are. You know, I really want to feel connected, and I just yelled at my husband, you know, that didn't create connection. So what's my second choice? You know, I will often tell this to my students, like, it's not the first choice, it's the second choice. It's the second choice, you know, because sometimes the first choice we can go into automatic patterns and default modes, you know. As soon as we see it, we can take a breath and we can reclaim ourselves and we can make a second choice. And that second choice is the one that's deeply aligned. I'm so sorry that I, you know, yelled and said it this way, or we had this intense moment and I came from this space. That's actually not what I meant. I just got triggered in that moment. I see it now, that part of myself. And what I really want is this. And what I really need is this. And I can also see that you're needing something. So how can we have a conversation as two souls on the level of needs and not, you know, using the kind of automatic weapons that we tend to default, like yelling or getting there we are, like yelling or getting silent, you know, or all the different strategies that we use that oftentimes have the opposite, let me get this back up, have the opposite reaction that we really want, right? I yelled and they moved away, but all I really wanted was for them to be close, you know? So like, think about that. Think about the weapons that you might default to. In the language of a dear friend, Walter Polt, you know, he talks about anger, and he wrote a book called The Anger Makeover. A little plug for you, Walter, which I thought was really brilliant. And he talks about the weapons that we use. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, you guys. This is not something I normally do, driving while recording. So just, it's kind of fun though, right? We're in a real moment. But, you know, that we default to certain weapons that we tend to use, that when we're not coming from our center, but we're coming from these parts of us that, you know, that are wounded. And how can we recognize that? Number one, recognize the deeper need that we have and choose a tool, a better tool. What's a better tool for communication? You know, speaking on the level of needs, for example, or using a calm voice, or taking a breath, taking a step away, and then coming back from a new perspective. Like, there's so many wonderful tools that we could use in exchange. So yeah, you know, just really recognizing that second choice as the one. I'm about to pause in a second here, but that second choice as the one that really allows us to come from our heart, you know, from what we really deeply need and want, and how we actually want to communicate and what we actually want to communicate. So just recognizing, you know, that who we are is a soul and also deeply human. And it's so important for us to become more and more human. So don't transcend your human space by pretending that you've got it all figured out and you're totally enlightened and you have to show that to the world. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be vulnerable and share at the level of vulnerability and honesty, because my God, how are we going to have more of a human to human connection if we don't show up human, if we don't show up honestly? So this is just, you know, what's sitting with me right now. We're all experiencing an intensification of so many things right now. You know, the world is intensified, and it's hard to hold all of our stuff sometimes, feeling the weight of our world, feeling the pain of our world. You know, it's not always easy to really, you know, show up as perfectly as we'd love to. We can pause, and I could pause right here and finish this conversation with you. You know what I mean? You know, so be real, be honest. Can we just be real with each other? If you're feeling me right now, if you are feeling the importance of having honest conversations that come from the heart about who we are, and sometimes that means what we struggle with, and hey, you can teach something that you know really, really well and live it as best you can and still sometimes make a mistake or not show up perfectly. We all have those moments. And I think that the more that we can be honest about that and really real with each other around that, the more we can come together in that space of honesty and support each other through it all. You know, some of my greatest mentors and the most beautiful teachers and the people that I work with at Psychospiritual Institute, all of us, you know, we're all here to support each other on a bad day. And we have moments when we're like, well, how can we use the tools that we have to come from a real deep heart space here? after maybe having a moment where we didn't, so like, how can we continue to recover and reclaim who we are in the deepest way, bringing in that self-compassion, honesty, vulnerability, and just recognizing that we are all here feeling it together. So I just wanted to share that because it feels so alive for me right now. Like, I just had a moment earlier today where I was like, oop, that's not what I wanted to do, and yet here I am and like teaching with my whole heart and soul. And still we all have these moments, we're all still figuring a lot of things out for ourselves, right? So it's okay, you guys. I'm here with you. We're all in this together. We all have incredible depth and wisdom to share. We have so much to teach and learn and grow with each other. And, it's a beautiful thing to just be here in the process, in the journey, in the adventure of life, through it all. And the more that we're able to do this, I think the more mature we become about the way that we show up in our lives and in our world. And, isn't that the key? Psychological and spiritual maturity. Okay? So no more pretending, right? It's okay to bring your whole true self into this space and into the conversation. And I wouldn't want you any other way. And I hope you wouldn't want me any other way. So there it is, just a little bit of, present wisdom from the heart that I'm sitting with right now, and just really appreciating this beautiful soul that just reached out for help, and also, deeply honoring the wisdom that they hold and how they hold others, in the work that they do, because we can have both. We can both show up powerfully for others and help them on their journey and still need support. And I think it's wonderful for all of us to have coaches. I think we all, need to have someone, whether it's a dear friend or a coach or a therapist or, just a community that we can turn to in moments of need. Community is so important. My God. Those of you that have known me for 10 plus years know that for the last 20 years, building community has been one of my callings, my deepest, like how can we come together, deepen the conversation and remember who we are, and part of that remembering is the process of remembering, and that it's okay. All right, enough said. Loving you guys so much. Mwah. Please leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling in relationship to this message today. I would love to hear from you. I always love to hear from you, and I deeply value an honest heart-to-heart conversation. So whatever you want to contribute, bring it. All right? Much love, you guys. Sorry about the crazy driving experience. It just felt, it felt imperative to share it right now while it felt so alive in me. All right? Love you guys.